This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of
We would like to welcome you to our 2019 Women's Achievement Awards.
We have been holding this is our 20th year, holding an event honoring and celebrating women. And it is fantastic that we have so many outstanding female business leaders in our region. So many, in fact, it's hard to choose just 6. I would like to thank our committee for the selection process. I'd also like to thank the Hilton Garden Inn for once again hosting this event. They do a great job. So let's have a round of applause for the Hilton Garden Inn. And look at those beautiful centerpieces. They were made by the talented students at ACES. They are very inspirational. Aren't they adorable? They are awesome. They're very inspirational, and we thank them for their very hard work. Thank you, ACES. Today's luncheon is made possible by the generosity of all of our sponsors. We are very grateful to our presenting sponsor, BYK USA. They have been a supporter of this event for many years and is once again our event presenter. Would the folks at BYK USA please stand? Thank you so much for your support. And would the representatives of these companies that have sponsored this event please stand when I call your name. Our returning speaker sponsor is TD Bank. Our major sponsors are Olbrich Stainless Steels, Harvard Pilgrim, and AMS Practice Management Recruiting Agency. Thank you. Our additional sponsors are Quinnipiac University, Camco, Gaylord Specialty Healthcare, RJ Media Group, Outfront Media, Canon Solutions America, and Access AV. Thank you for your support of this very important event. And a special thank you to Portrait Design by Mary Bush for taking photographs today. There's Mary right in the back of the room. Now, Mary just held her grand opening for her new design studio last week at Broadway Square in North Haven, so congratulations, Mary. And of course, we have great raffles today. We would like to thank all of the companies listed on your program and on the slides for their raffle donations. The proceeds of today's raffle will benefit the Quinnipiac Chamber of Commerce Charitable Trust to support scholarships. Maribel and Gary will be coming up at the end of the program to announce the winners. And now, would our president and the president of the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce, Garrett Sheehan, please come up to say a few words.
Thank you, Dee. And first, I want to start by congratulating all of our honorees today and all of the women in business who make our region so special. Your leadership in business, and I don't have to look very far, but to Dee, who leads the Quinnipiac Chamber and does an excellent job. And we, for the second year in a row, the Record Journal's best Chamber of Commerce in the region. So let's give a big round of applause to Dee and the Quinnipiac team. Gary and Maribel, who are here too, do a great job putting on this event. I look out, I see Jennifer Delmonico, managing partner at Bertha Kleina, and Jen was an honoree last year and also board chair for the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce. And so I just think of the leadership and mentorship that Jen provided to me in my first year at the Chamber. So again, a big round of applause to Jen, Dee, and all of the women who are in business. So part of my job here now is to recognize our sponsors, and we really cannot put events like this and all of the other great events that we do throughout the year on without our sponsors. So I want to start by recognizing our premier partner, Allnex, and as I call out these company names, please let's have the representatives stand. So Frank DiCristina, our board chair with Allnex. I'll call out all the names and we'll applause at the end. Our star supporters, Harvard Pilgrim, Nucor, and Olbrich Stainless Steels. You can applause there. And our corporate sponsors, American Eagle Credit Union, BYK USA, Choate Rosemary Hall, Ferguson McGuire Insurance, Image 360 Wallingford, Inframetals, Lipper International, Newtown Savings Bank, One Source Companies, Outfront Media, Record Journal, Broad Paint Home Center. Stand. They didn't stand, but we'll give them a big round of applause anyways. And then our business partners, Attorney John Mezzanotte, Banton Construction Company, Comcast Business, and UI. So a big round of applause for all of our sponsors. I just want to say you'll be hearing from President Judy Olean, Quinnipiac University, in just a few minutes. But I do want to say that we've had a great working relationship with Quinnipiac, especially since Judy has come on board. She has jumped into our region, our state, taking a leadership role. I'm proud to say this morning at the CERC board, now this is the Economic Development Agency for the entire state, she was elected to the board of directors. And also this week, she was announced to the governor's workforce committee. So that just speaks to how she's taking a leading role with Quinnipiac University and what she's doing for our community. So Judy, thank you so much for being here today. And it's now my honor to invite up Mayor Bill Dickinson from Wallingford and First Selectman Mike Frieda from North Haven. Mayor, First Selectman.
It's a delight to join you all for this good afternoon. You know, a little boy went to kindergarten for his first day, and so at the end of the day, his mother picked him up and she noticed that his name tag said Mike on it. So she said, "Why does your name tag say Mike? Your name is Christopher." And Mike said, "Well, Mom, the teacher asked how we would like to be called." Well, all of the women being honored today all had names, but I think we'd like to call them caring, courageous, courteous, creative, enlightened, enthusiastic, friendly, professional, superlative, trailblazing, but for all of us, I think the word inspirational says it all. We need people with high standards who create such a wonderful atmosphere in the workplace, at home, in the community. These women do that, and for that, they rightfully deserve the recognition today. Inspirational. Have a wonderful day.
First Selectman Mike Frieda.
Thank you very much, Dee, and thank you, Mayor Dickinson. It's always great to be here. I think that this is the 9th or 10th consecutive year that I've been at this remarkable Achievements Award ceremony. I am very proud of all the women who have been honored in the past, and I am delighted to be here this year. Many of these fine, inspirational women are women that I currently have been working with, and I am delighted. You know, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes it's not easy doing what we do in our respective careers. But I can say this, that our collective heartbeat will continue to pulsate as I see it, with the rapid anticipation of continued success in our respective industries. And I'm delighted here today to say that that success has been manifested and has been manifested by these remarkable ladies here who are individual leaders in their respective industries and institutions. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. And I would like to have any of our board members that are here today, please stand. Board members that are here today. Let's have a big round of applause. We couldn't do what we do without our board members. Thank you, Mayor and First Selectman Mike Frieda. Okay, I would like to introduce our head table from left to right. We have, as you know, Mayor William Dickinson and First Selectman Mike Frieda. We have Christy Danley, Vice President and Relations Manager from TD Bank. Christy. Next to her, we have Tracy Guyette, HR Supervisor of Nucor Steel, Florida. We have Tammy Albrecht, President of the Board of Directors at the Albrecht Boys and Girls Club. Lindsay Bell, General Manager at the Hilton Guardian. Heather Latora, President and CEO of Marrakesh Inc. Sonia LaBarbera, President and CEO of Gaylord Specialty Healthcare. Frankie Christina, Chairman of the Board and Site Manager at Almex. Of course, our President Garrett Sheehan. And our special guest speaker, Judy Olean, President of Quinnipiac University. I would like to invite Wealth Market Leader Marion Schmelk from TD Bank to come up and tell you a little bit about our guest speaker.
Thank you very much. On behalf of TD Bank, we're delighted to be the speaker sponsor for this fabulous luncheon. I want to congratulate all the award winners today, but I have to give a special shout out to one of TD-owned Christy Damling, who is also among the winners today. So Christy, we're very proud of you. Congratulations on this tremendous honor. With the changing dynamics of business, the economy, and the political landscape, it is critical that we continue to support our chambers and their leadership in economic growth and development, in being a leader in advocacy, and providing real value and advisory services for members. So thank you to the Chamber for all you do for the region and for your members. At TD, we also understand the need for our support of both the chambers and the non-for-profit community. This year in Connecticut, TD will give over $600,000 to nonprofit organizations. Our funds have gone to mental health services, to education, to housing, to veteran services, and also to food pantries. So now it's my great pleasure to introduce our special guest speaker for today, Dr. Judy Olean, and I'm going to read her bio, which is quite extensive and talk about inspirational. Judy Olean, PhD, became the 9th president of Quinnipiac University on July 1st, 2018. She is distinguished in leading higher education institutions to advance academic excellence, innovative programming, alumni engagement, global outreach, and inclusive environments. Prior to joining Quinnipiac, she served as the Dean of UCLA Anderson School of Management and John E. Anderson Chair of Management for 12 years. Under her leadership, UCLA Anderson hired a record number of faculty, expanded its prestigious board of visitors, and raised more than $450 million in support of students and faculty, innovative programming, and also capital improvements. Before serving at UCLA Anderson, she was a dean and professor of management at the Smeal College of Business at the Pennsylvania State University. Before that, Judy served as a professor and senior associate dean at the Robert H. Smith School of Business at the University of Maryland. Judy has a bachelor's degree in psychology from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, an MSc and PhD degrees in industrial relations from the University of Wisconsin in Madison. When I introduced myself, I did not get this hint of your accent, but she's a native of Australia, and she's married to Peter Averdi. So with that, please join me in giving a warm welcome to Judy Olean.
Thank you, Marion, for that lovely introduction. I was concerned that it might go on longer than my speech. But thank you. And I have to say, I love being in groups of powerful women, and there are many, many of you here, and some men. And I want to especially congratulate the 6 honorees that are being recognized today for wonderful impact in communities, in their businesses. I am going to do a special shout out to our own Quinnipiac alum, a Bobcat, Sonia LaBarbera, who's CEO of Gaylord Healthcare. And I hope that we have many Bobcats in the room here. I also am so glad to see Mayor Dickinson and First Selectman Mike Streeter here. They are really a lesson in longevity of leadership, And I think they do that because they are so fantastic at serving the residents and citizens of their communities, and we all have a lesson in what they do and how they do it. So thank you for your incredible service to the community. And to the Chamber, you heard from the overly generous background that Marion read. I've always been in business and business schools, and I think that the Chambers of Commerce of the communities in which we live are vital in creating the public-private partnerships that are the essence of growth in communities. So by now, having heard that introduction, you know remember the old Woody Allen phrase, it's not age, it's mileage. I have a lot of mileage, having been and lived in many places. But I've come to truly appreciate how special it is to live here in Connecticut with the beautiful mountains and lakes and hiking trails and the brilliant fall foliage. I have to say that coming from California, we had no seasons there. We now unfortunately have a lot of fires. And Connecticut has such a deep history that tells the story of the beginnings of this country and also its industrial base. Connecticut has a unique narrative of its past and also its future. And I am committed to working with all of you here to build our future together for the youth that grow up here or who come to study in one of the 40 higher education universities of Connecticut, and there are some wonderful ones, or for those who are already here and have to continue to upskill and reskill and morph with the changes in technologies and markets. Now, lifting communities doesn't just happen in one sector. We all have to stretch our hands out and work together. Education, government, community, organizations strategically partnering with the private sector, and we are all critical players in building this future of the state. At Quinnipiac, we recently completed our strategic plan to become, and this is the label of our strategic plan, the University of the Future. Now, in my humble opinion, most universities are not yet universities of the future, and we all have to think deeply about what that means. The University of the Future isn't an ivory tower that's insulated or isolated from our society or from markets, and it's no longer an institution catering just to 18 to 22-year-olds who are largely from the middle class and up. The University of the Future has to embrace diversity of every form to mirror the communities in which we live now and for what these communities will become. The University of the Future also has to cater to the growing needs of businesses, and you all know this, to reskill and upskill their workforce. We've never, ever lived in times that are as rapidly changing as today, which means that we've never lived in times where obsolescence occurs as fast as it does today. But it's not enough to cater to a much more diverse population of learners, whether it's ethnic, national, age, cultural, or economic diversity. We need also to become a lot more diverse in how we teach and deliver. Technology is a disruptor in a lot of fields, and in education too. Learning can now happen in school, on the bus, on the train, at home, while you're hiking or rock climbing or even cooking. And when technology advances a bit further, you'll be able to feel as if you're actually there, learning in a room full of your peers, using lab equipment or medical instruments or doing a physics simulation, because of virtual or augmented reality technology that actually enables you to be placed right in the middle of the action. So we know for sure that learners will change and that the technology of learning will change. How students learn will also change into a much more active participatory model. We no longer will have this sage on the stage model that everyone listens to. But the question is, can teachers and universities change with our students and with the need to learn differently? That is the real challenge in creating the University of the Future, and that's where I think Quinnipiac can excel. Now, a little bit looking inward, I came to Quinnipiac because I was blown away by its trajectory. It grew under the visionary leadership of my predecessor, President John Leahy, from a very small seed to this bold, gutsy, innovative, and very comprehensive university. We have a College of Arts and Sciences and now 8 professional schools, including law, business, medicine, and engineering. Quinnipiac is unusually nimble in its DNA. The other ingredient that I think is key in building Quinnipiac as the university of the future is that it's remarkably in touch with its business and community partners. That means that our graduates emerge with skills that are highly relevant to employers, and because of that relevancy, many of you hire our graduates or offer them internships. In fact, 97.5% of our students who graduate have a job or go to graduate school within 6 months. That's a remarkable statistic. Quinnipiac also aligns our programs with what current employers and employees need in order to upskill and reskill their jobs. And when I talk to CEOs or senior managers, that is their biggest preoccupation. How do we take our current workforce and align them with where the market is today? That level of connectedness to the evolving needs of the marketplace, where we customize learning to what employers need, is enabled by the business and community partnerships that we enjoy with you. Now, we're very embedded in the communities in which we live as neighbors. Many of our staff and students live in neighborhoods. And we're also economic partners. Our budget is spent primarily locally. And in fact, the multiplier effect of Quinnipiac students and staff and visitors and families through their spending contributes nearly $2 billion a year to the local region, according to the Connecticut Conference of Independent Colleges. So we're also a huge partner in the economic viability of the region. But the partnership is truly mutual, with our students, faculty, and staff enjoying all of the advantages that you deliver in terms of businesses and services, the great outdoors that we have, while in turn we try to bring the talent and resources of the university to address some of the most critical priorities of the communities around us. Now take the hunger challenge in the region. The United Way cites a statistic that 1 in 6 kids in Connecticut goes hungry when they go to bed. That is terrible. Our School of Communications faculty and students have developed a billboard and PR campaign to direct those who have food needs to the community resources that are available. Through our prison project, faculty and students are working with prisoners to prepare them for life after prison, to be constructively engaged in employment when they're released. Our law school offers legal clinics to local residents. Our medical and nursing and PT programs provide medical clinics to underserved populations. Our accounting program helps lower-income residents prepare their taxes. Our teaching students volunteer in under-resourced school districts. And the Quinnipiac Poll, which I imagine you know, keeps the public informed about vital social and political issues. We're developing stronger pipeline programs to attract students of diverse backgrounds into Quinnipiac and to nurture community talent that hasn't always had its fair share of access to higher education. We've launched the New Haven Promise program, which is a scholarship program for Promise kids in the greater region. We've launched seamless transfer agreements with Gateway and Housatonic community colleges. And in turn, our community at Quinnipiac will be enriched through inclusive excellence. And these students will become our next community leaders in all of the communities in which we live. I could go on and on. The short summary is that I feel very proud and lucky to be part of this region, to be part of Quinnipiac, and more broadly, part of the educational enterprise that really transforms lives. Now, you might say that education is a bit of destiny for me. though perhaps my earlier teachers would strongly disagree that education was in my future, given my performance then. My path into education started before I was born. My parents were met at a school board in pre-war Poland. My mom was a teacher and a young head of school. My father was on the school board. They married just before World War II, before the Holocaust separated them. They lost each other for 7 years. My father had emigrated to Australia in 1938 when he saw the dark clouds on the horizon. Once he was settled, he sent a permit to my mom, but unfortunately that permit was dated the 3rd of September 1939. The Nazis invaded Poland the 1st of September 1939. My mother spent the years of the war basically running as a refugee, first in Poland and then in southern Russia. It took 7 years, but through unshakable resiliency on her part and on his, and huge luck, and probably God looking over their shoulders, my mother and father were reunited 7+ years later in Australia. They were both sole survivors of each of their large families. I was the third of their children, and I moved around quite a bit as a kid. My father and older brother had died young, and that caused quite a bit of movement. But some of my mother's resilience, I am sure, rubbed off on me, as well as her commitment to education. I didn't have a sense of where I was headed, and I had no intention then of becoming an academic. But again, luck and the sweeping generosity of the American higher education system enabled me to come from Israel to the US and to complete my PhD at the University of Wisconsin. It has stuck with me, the role of teachers and professors in my life, as well as how I was embraced by American higher education. And just as both transformed my life, I want to do the same for younger generations. And I'm always conscious of how big a role luck plays in life. There's nothing deserved about being lucky, and there's nothing deserved about being unlucky. In Quinnipiac's strategic plan, there are 4 pillars, the 4th being the imperative for lifelong learning, given this dizzying pace of change in technologies that we're experiencing in the way the world has come together. I've been fortunate to have had wonderful opportunities to learn and to keep learning throughout my life. And in my previous role as Dean of the Business School, I always taught a leadership class. And I had the privilege of hosting some of the major leading U.S. corporate and community leaders in the class. So I'm going to share just 2 observations that may be relevant to leadership and perhaps relevant in particular to female leadership. I have observed that no 2 leaders are alike. There is enormous variability among successful leaders. They're not all extroverts. They are not all super speakers. They are not all the smartest person in the room. In fact, I sometimes think it's comforting that some of the greatest leaders are really introverts, are downright shy, and sometimes even stumbling speakers, and definitely not the smartest person in the room. But the great leaders have one thing in common. They are authentic in their passion for what they do. It comes from inside. There is a very personal connection between who they are and what they do. They have a passion, a sense of purpose that comes from within. You might have heard that in my own story, my very personal connection and sense of purpose around education from my parents and from the transformational impact that teachers and professors and education had in my own life. You know, you can't fake it. And if you're authentic to who you are, leadership will come more easily. That very personal sense of purpose will be evident to everybody around you. They will trust you for it, and they will be inspired by it because you are authentic. So ask yourself, What is your authentic connection between who you are and what you do? What is it about your life, your experiences, your belief that drives your personal passion for what you do? And if you have a clear answer for that, others will feel it. They will see it. They will be inspired by it. You will lead from a place of authenticity. That authenticity is something I saw in the inspiring leaders I've met. And the second common denominator among all of these various and different leaders who have all been successful is that they all failed at something. Some had failed really badly and visibly, but they picked themselves up, learned from it, became more resilient in the process, and went on to significant successes. I just read a study by Dr. Deshun Wang of the Kellogg School at Northwestern, who found that people who had near misses early in their career went on to greater successes 10 years later than did those who had had narrow winners. So the near misses were actually constructive in their career. And failure is never fatal. It might even be helpful. One has to, first of all, take risks, including the risk of failure, to move forward. In the process, you learn, you build resilience, you get noticed by others, and the odds are that sometimes you actually achieve the goal you set out for yourself. That's great. So failure has many benefits. It means you take risks, something you must do. You are learning, and you're becoming a better version of yourself. Failure also builds resilience, which in my book is one of the most vital qualities of leadership. And as I said to you earlier, my own resilience, which has been built from some tough personal experiences as well as from some professional failures, has undoubtedly made me a better leader as I deal with the inevitable rocks in the road that come with leadership. So I'm going to end by noting a recent milestone for women, a story of persistence and resilience too. A couple of weeks ago, specifically October 18th, we witnessed the first all-woman spacewalk by Christina Koch and Jessica Meir. Each had dreamed of becoming an astronaut for a long time. Jessica, in fact, said that her first drawing that she ever did in first grade was of a female astronaut. Each had persisted and overcome significant barriers to being an astronaut, and that was true to the end. In fact, the spacewalk by the two women was initially canceled because, catch this, NASA didn't have spacesuits that fit women. And that's a big deal when you're floating around in the atmosphere, and the atmosphere can go from like minus 250 to plus 250. So you need those spacesuits. But they didn't have them that fit them, so they were postponed and delayed. They hung in there, and it happened. One big step for womankind. As an aside, there's a Barbie that's an astronaut, and I'm very proud of that because I sit on the Mattel board, which makes Barbies. And now, because of the spacewalk, lots of little girls will see themselves as future astronauts or robotic engineers or heads of space missions or whatever. And with 5 women running among the 18-person field for the Democratic nominee, girls will see themselves as future U.S. presidents. Each woman, each of you, is an inspiration to another woman or another little girl, showing them the path that they might follow. It's not a glass ceiling. It is a sky with no limits. Each of us has our own dream, our own personal spacewalk that we aspire to achieve. Be authentic, be resilient. May each of you be inspired to take your own spacewalk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judy. Very inspirational. It's incredible what you have been able to accomplish. and it's been an honor having you today. Thank you for your support. This brings us to an important part of our program, recognizing our region's female leaders. Would our chairman of the board, Frankie Christina, the site manager from Olmex, please come up to say a few words and introduce our first recipient.
Thank you, Dee. Good afternoon, welcome everyone. Great to see a full house and a lot of familiar faces and some new ones as well. I feel privileged to be here to honor these remarkable individuals who would be accomplished regardless of gender. The fact that they are women and quite often mothers, or more often than not have another full-time job running a home, is what makes them really special. Thank you for all you do. So it is my honor to announce the Excellence in Business Award to a fellow Quinnipiac Chamber Executive Board member. Very proud to be working alongside her. Christy Damling has been an employee of TD Bank for the past 24 years and is currently a small business lender that is responsible for originating and managing both deposit and lending relationships. She is a member of the commercial banking team that covers the New Haven region. Prior to accepting the position as a small business leader, Christy had a variety of positions with TD Bank, including retail branch management and regional retail management covering the state. Throughout the years, Christy has volunteered her time with many organizations, and more recently, she led the TD Bank Volunteer Committee, which is instrumental in hosting soccer for the Special Olympics Summer Games. Additionally, she serves on the board of directors of the Quinnipiac Chamber of Commerce and has done so for the past year and is currently serving her second-year term as the secretary of the executive board. Christy resides in Hamden with her husband Dennis and two sons, Ty and Brady. In her spare time, she enjoys taking trips with family and being active with her children's school community. Christy, would you please come up and accept the award for excellence in business?
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here with all of you today. I would like to personally thank Dee and the entire Quinnipiac Chamber for this prestigious award. Congratulations to all the awardees here today. I'm honored to be in your same company, and the inspirational words that we've heard today, it's a true honor. A heartfelt thank you goes to my husband Dennis, who's here today, to share this special moment along with all of my colleagues from TD Bank, my biggest fan base. So thank you for taking the time to join me. Thank you again, everyone. This is a true honor.
Great job, Christy. Well done. Would Tom Curtin, the HR Director of Olbrich Stainless Steels and our past chairman of the board, please come up to announce our next recipient.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. So it is with great pleasure that I announce the Excellence in Manufacturing Award. Tracy Guyette, a good friend, by the way. Tracy started her career in manufacturing with the Connecticut Steel Corporation in May of 1993 as a temporary employee. Early on with Connecticut Steel, she held various positions within human resources, sales, and accounting until she landed a regular full-time position in the HR department in 1994. She was then promoted several times, and ultimately she became the manager of human resources in 2001. In 2006, Nucor acquired Connecticut Steel, and Tracy continued her HR career for Nucor Steel Connecticut. In her HR role with Nucor, she was responsible for overseeing a complete range of HR activities, including recruitment, compensation and benefits, and employee relations. Recently, she accepted a position at Nucor Steel Florida where she will continue her HR career in manufacturing. In addition to performing her regular HR duties, she will be actively engaged with coordinating a number of projects related to the startup of a new mill and will use her past experience to build a production team from the ground up. Needless to say, Tracy has been a key contributor to the Connecticut Steel and Nucor manufacturing team for the past 25 years. And over the years, Tracy has given back to the community and has volunteered with many organizations. She was truly the link between Nucor and the Spanish community of Wallingford, and was the heart and soul behind organizing many Nucor golf tournaments, which with proceeds benefiting many community service-based organizations in the area. She was active with multiple events in her children's school community. She was a Connecticut Junior Wolfpack team mom. I'm sure you have fond memories of that, Tracy. And for years, she was a concession stand manager at the Ed Walsh Little League. In addition, Tracy served on the Quinnipiac Chamber Board and recently held the position of Board Secretary. Tracy is currently living in Winter Haven, Florida. She is married to Brian, and they have 2 children, Haley and Christopher. Tracy, thank you so much for all of your contributions to Connecticut Steel, Nucor, the Quinnipiac Chamber, and to our community at large. Please come up and accept this well-deserved Excellence in Manufacturing Award.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, again, thank you. Thank you to the Chamber. Thank you for the committee for nominating me for this position, for this award today. It's really an honor to be here today. As you heard, I've been with Nucor Steel, Connecticut for the past 25 years. That is where I've grown and developed to be a key leadership in the manufacturing industry. I could not have done that without the help of many great other leaders at Nucor Steel, Connecticut. My dearest teammates are here today with me today. I thank them for being here. Salma, Maria, Jennifer, and Angel, thank you so much for all your support. Connecticut Steel, Nucor Steel Connecticut will always be my hope. As you also heard, I've started a new chapter of my life in the manufacturing industry. I accepted a position at Nucor Steel, Florida. I'll be challenged with starting up the mill. It's very exciting, and I'm very confident that my manufacturing experiences that I've had at Nucor Steel, Connecticut will make me successful at Nucor Steel, Florida. Not only could I be successful without the Nucor Steel team, I could not do this without my family. For all their support for the last 25 years at Nucor Steel, Connecticut, as well as with my new venture down in Nucor Steel, Florida. I thank my mom and dad who are here today, my husband Brian, my daughter Harry, Blake and Jake. My son couldn't be here, but truly couldn't be here, and without their support, I thank everyone at the Chamber. Really, it's been a great 25 years here, and I love everybody, and I'll miss everybody to death. So thank you, and thank you again for this award. It's been very much an honor.
It has been such a pleasure having Tracy being part of the Chamber family for so many years, and we miss her terribly. Okay. Tara Knapp from Gaylord Specialty Healthcare and also the Vice Chairman of our Chamber, please come up to present the next award, and we'll put it up, Tracy.
Good afternoon. I'll be presenting the Community Impact Award to Tammy Olbrich from the Olbrich Boys and Girls Club. Tammy spent 40 years in sales management, managing sales teams throughout the United States in apparel, home improvement, and home decor industries. In 2014, she retired early to marry her wonderful husband, Chris Olbrich, and moved to Connecticut. Tammy began with the Olbrich Boys and Girls Club as a volunteer. In 2015, she then joined the board of directors and soon became board president. During this time, she led the board transformation process, doubling the size of the board of directors, which encouraged strong committee development. This transformation included adding experienced staff at all levels that inspired growth. During the past 4 years, the Olbrich Boys and Girls Club of Wallingford has expanded to a second site located in North Haven. The club has quadrupled the number of youth served daily and exceeded all measurements by the national organization. Tammy grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, Illinois, and now resides in Guilford, Connecticut, and Point Richey in Florida with her husband, Chris. She has 2 children, Jason and Jessica, and 11 blended family grandchildren. Tammy, would you please come up and accept the Community Impact Award?
Wow. So, it's been a wild ride. I just have to tell you, going from the business industry, moving into nonprofit, and I've had a pretty diverse career, probably sell anything to anybody normally, but it's been a wonderful learning experience. My buddy over here, Megan Lenzo, said, Tams, just come over to the club and do a few crafts. And that turned into, I can help you fix that leak in the sink. Let's get somebody to transform the bathrooms. Let's lay new gym floors, all that stuff. So, and then I joined the board of directors, and, we really adopted strategic plans for board transformation and how to grow the organization and serve more youth. Serving more youth is what we all need to work on. We must get behind the youth of today. It's a critically time in our youth environment. It's changing very dramatically. Our kids need to be safe. They need to be inspired. And we need to do whatever it takes to build great futures for the kids. That's what it's all about. There is nothing else to say about it. If you have a skill, if you have resources, if you would like to get involved, I would love to chat with you today with Carlos Claus, our executive director, and Don Crouch, our resource development. Standing behind the youth will shore up the workforce of tomorrow. It will allow all of you that have businesses in the North Haven and Wallingford communities to continue to be successful. It will keep our youth in the state of Connecticut. So it is just very, very important and powerful, the impact that you can have on the kids today. The other thing I would like to say is, there's a saying that people hate change. It actually is inspiring, invigorating, and energizing. And I want to really recognize our board of directors that has just put their, pulled up their bootstraps, got together, and we have not moved forward with one thing in our organization unless that vote has been unanimous. So every step of the way, we have
grown, and we've just added another 3 or 4 board of directors to our organization. We've executed succession. We're on our road to executing a strategic plan, and we feel that we, over the next 2 years, can double the amount of youth that we serve with your help. With your help. So Mike Frieda and Mayor Dickinson, we've already had discussions. We're looking for more ways to help more youth within your communities. So please, community support has been unbelievable. The sponsorships, the giving is just amazing. We can tap into this and really help our youth. Please join with us and do that for us. So 2 years, let's get to 300 kids in the next 2 years. So I'd like all of the board of directors, all of you that have been touched by the Boys and Girls Club, all of you that have provided support in any way, please stand up. I would like you to be recognized. This award is for all of us. Thank you so much. I could tell a million kid stories, but then I'll be a crying mess up here. But just come in one day, walk around for an hour, and you will leave there with your heart full and passionate about our youth.
Tammy is very humble. We know how hard she has worked the last few years and what a difference you have made, so great job. Okay, would Chris Armorell from AMS Practice Management Recruiting Agency please come up to present our next award?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hey. At AMS Practice Management, it's really quite an honor to be here to participate in this event. Though it's on a personal level that really kind of gets me emotional, excited to be here. My wife and I just welcomed our 3rd daughter to the world 2 weeks ago. Pushing father moment. It's for that reason that this is truly such an honor, because living in this community, I'm looking to these women and many more to pave the way for my daughters as they come of age and go into the world eventually and find their own way. It's the efforts of everyone here, of all these women and many people here in the audience that we all have reason to celebrate, and why it's such an honor for me to be able to present this Emerging Leader Award. Lindsay Bell, a North Carolina native, joined the Wallingford community in 2015 as the opening general manager of the Hilton Garden Inn in Wallingford, Maryland. Her hospitality career spans over 15 years in a variety of different markets and across several hotel brands in various roles. Lindsay's industry experience includes hotel openings, renovations, capital project management, and sustaining award-winning hotels. Throughout her years as a hotelier, Lindsay has always managed to become rooted in the community she served. From volunteering with youth education and chairing fundraisers to accepting local government appointments, and now serving as a member of the board of directors to the Quinnipiac Chamber of Commerce in her 4th year term. Lindsay has used the skills acquired throughout her career to establish a property management venture, which she started with her husband in 2017. Together they reside in New Haven with their 2 boys. When time permits, she enjoys both international and domestic travel, conquering the wonders of the world, most recently visiting the Great Pyramids of Giza. It is my honor to present the Emerging Leader Award to Lindsay. Would you please come up and accept?
Hi everyone, and welcome again on behalf of the Hilton Garden Inn. Thank you all so much for coming today, and of course thank the Chamber for allowing us to consecutively be the choice for this event annually. I'd first like to acknowledge my fellow Board of Directors members. Full disclosure, I had nothing to do with the vote. I didn't even know that I was even considered until I had won. So no conspiracies going on here. But more than anything, I'm humbled to be among the likes of these other recipients. These women are certainly trailblazers, as everyone else has mentioned. And being an emerging leader is most fitting for me because these are the type of women that I aspire to be. So please, a round of applause for all the other women today. And I'd like to acknowledge my family who traveled near and far to be here today. They are my personal pep rally, my parents, my uncle, my sister, my little Jacob who was running around, networking earlier. And my first grader who is learning at the moment. And of course my husband who is my constant source of support. And lastly, I'd like to acknowledge and thank my team here at the hotel. Running a hotel is a 24/7 business, and it's impossible to be here all the time. A lot can be said about leadership, when you are rallying your team and giving advice in the moment, but it's what can be said when you're not present. That really speaks to the integrity of the folks that I've surrounded myself with. So more than anything, I guess I'm just a good judge of character because they're always doing the right things and making great choices when I'm absent. So thank you to all of you for being easy to lead. And again, I'm honored to receive this award, so thank you all.
I remember when Lindsay first came to the chamber, and it was one of those very, very cold winters and snowy, and she's sitting in my office with her hat and her mittens shivering, and it was about, 60, 70 degrees in my office, but she was, didn't let that weather deter her. She hit the ground running joining the chamber, and she hasn't stopped yet, so congratulations on your success at Hilton. Beth Griswold from Quinnipiac University and Chamber Board Member, please come up to announce our next recipient.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's now my honor to present the Excellence in Advocacy Award. When Heather Latour began her career at Marrakesh, there were about 35 staff working to support 50 people with developmental disability and other barriers to independence. Fast forward, 33 years later, and Marrakesh employs over 750 staff statewide and provides innovative, quality, and cost-effective support to over 1,000 people with various abilities. In 2014, Heather became the president and CEO of Marrakesh. Marrakesh activities are mostly funded by various state and local departments. Therefore, state budget, legislative decisions, and laws impact the people supported by Marrakesh. Advocacy is essential. Heather tackles advocacy through relationship building, education, and communication. It is impossible for our state representatives to be experts on every issue, so developing connections, offering expertise, and listening to all angles of an issue is vital. She feels that this is our responsibility as nonprofit and for-profit business leaders, the economic drivers in Connecticut, to be at the table in Hartford, working with other representatives to help them make the best decisions that meet our collective goals. Heather shares leadership lessons and disability-related expertise on a regular basis by serving on panels and making presentations. Being the keynote speaker at the SCSU's graduate commencement ceremony for 2017 was a proud moment for her. Heather currently serves on the boards of directors for the Workers' Compensation Trust, the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce, and Milestones Behavioral Health. She is also a member of the Seroptimus, that's a big one, Northeast. Heather, can you please come up and accept your award?
So us human service workers are a passionate breed. So our founders' fierce advocacy lives on. I've expanded that advocacy from our founders to our board of directors, our staff, family, and now through self-advocacy from the people we support. One of my favorite self-advocacy stories comes from a few women that are joining us today. Hi, ladies. When we met them, they were placed in living-in programs that were not appropriate for them, such as a nursing home. They were living without friends, little choice, and no independence. They felt misplaced and isolated, and through their own self-advocacy and our passionate Marrakesh employees, they met and chose each other as roommates, and now they rent a home in Woodbridge in which they live with more independence, choice, and friends, and this living situation is controlled by them. Right? Chrissy, Deb, and Jennifer also joined us at the state capitol during last year's legislative session and spoke to more senators and representatives in just one day than I have in my entire career. They were advocating for their own futures of self-sufficiency and also for this outcome for others with disabilities. So I know those three deserve a round of applause, and thank you for coming. My advocacy secret has been to be inclusive, involve as many people as possible to get their messages to their legislators personally through letters, email, exchanges, get-togethers. And I'm lucky to work with and for so many inspiring people, and some of who are here, such as our volunteer board of directors who dedicate their time and energy to our mission, our talented, hardworking, absolutely best in the state Marrakesh employees, and of course families and individuals looking to live their best lives possible. They are all doers, they are all advocates, and they are all inspiring. And I would not be here without all of you, so thank you for your daily inspiration. Thank you very much. I feel that those of us who have been around a while have a duty to educate our legislators so they're aware of not only the great work we do for Connecticut, but how we save the state millions of dollars a year, and especially that all of our businesses, profit and not-for-profit, are economic drivers in the state, employing thousands of people who love and live in Connecticut, and we all need to make Connecticut a business-friendly state. It's a huge honor for me to receive this Excellence in Advocacy Award. Advocacy has been a large part of Marrakesh's mission for almost 50 years. And thank you, Dee, and to your awesome staff and board of directors at the Chamber, Quinnipiac Chamber and New Haven Chamber with Garrett, celebrating women's excellence. That's really great. And I'm humbled to be in the same company as the other award recipients. So thank you very much.
Congratulations, Heather. You and your team do incredible work at Marrakesh and help so many people. And last but certainly not least, would board member Molly Medico from BYK USA, who is our event presenter today, please come up to present our next award, the Woman of the Year.
It is with great pleasure that I get to present the Woman of the Year Award to Sonia LaBarba. Sonia is appointed to Chief Executive Officer and President of Gaylord's Specialty Healthcare in January of 2019. She is the first woman and Gaylord employee to hold this position in the organization's 117-year history, and it's the first clinician to achieve this rank in nearly 40 years. With over 20 years in the healthcare industry, Sonia has experienced in clinical operations, strategic planning, business development, leadership development, and philanthropy. She works with the healthcare systems, academic and research institutions to foster collaborative efforts to support superior patient outcomes. Sonia's earned her Master's of Science in Organizational Leadership from Quinnipiac University and her Master's of Science in Speech-Language Pathology from the State University of New York in Fredonia. She serves on the Board of Directors of Gaylord Hospital, Gaylord Farm Association, which oversees all the services offered by the organization's care continuum. Sonia is also an active member in the American Speech Language Hearing Association, American College for Healthcare Executives, and Healthcare Financial Management Associations. Her tenure at Gaylord began about 14 years ago, where she served in consecutive roles as Director of Inpatient Therapy Services, Senior Director of Therapy and Outpatient Services, and Vice President of Operations and Strategy. In her position as the Chief Operating Officer, she has increased system-wide volumes, patient satisfactions and scores, and more than tripled the size and scope of Gaylord's outpatient physical therapy program. With focus on patient-centric care that is cost-effective, Sonia is able to make things happen quickly and effectively. Her energy, visionary agility, and in-depth knowledge of the healthcare landscapes are the strengths that she brings to her role. Sonia, would you please come up to accept this role?
Thank you all very much. Wow. As I look out at this amazing and talented crowd, I am humbled and truly appreciative. And congratulations to all my fabulous new friends here at this head table. I promise to keep this short and sweet, but there are some people that I do need to thank. First, I'd like to start by thanking my Gaylord colleagues for their nomination and the Quinnipiac Chamber for this distinguished recognition. It is truly an honor to be recognized for something that I am so passionate about. I am very fortunate to lead an amazing organization. I am going into my 15th year at Gaylord, and as you just heard, became president and CEO in January of this year. I would be remiss if I did not point out that I share this recognition with many others. The accomplishments at Gaylord are truly the result of teamwork at its finest. I have a supportive and engaged board of directors, many of whom are here today, a management team second to none, and most importantly, the expert clinical staff who impact the lives of our patients every single day. Our patients are what motivates me as a leader, doing what is best for them to think possible as they recover from life-altering illnesses and injuries. There is absolutely nothing more rewarding than watching a paralyzed patient walk for the first time in our bionic exoskeleton, or seeing a stroke or brain-injured patient go home to their family, back to their jobs, back to their lives. I also want to note that over the last year, I was overwhelmed at how many women from this region, some I knew, most I didn't know, reached out to me to offer their congratulations and support. We are very fortunate to work in a community where strong women leaders make it a priority to encourage other women and save a seat for each other at the table. So thank you all for your support, and again for this tremendous recognition. Congratulations to you all. Great job, Sylvia. You've had quite a career. It's well-deserved. And congratulations to all of our honorees. Can all of you please stand, and let's have another round of applause for this incredible group of women. Well done. We have a lot of great events going on, and they are listed on a sheet on your table. You can always jump on our brand-new website at quinchain.com to find out more information. We're happy to let you know that on our new website, we will have a community calendar if you would like to post something, classified ads if you would like to sell something, and our local job posting board that will be up and running hopefully by the end of this year. Also, we hope you can join us at our holiday party in Zandria, December 12th. We have fantastic menu, top shelf cocktails. It's really a fun night with DJ, dancing, photo booth, wreath decorating contest, and more. It's only $49 per person, and it's just a great time. Bring yourself, bring your office, let us do the work for you. This concludes our program. We want to thank you again for coming, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.